Hello everyone and welcome to my first YouTube episode. So this episode I want to talk a little bit about me, the coach behind MWM Coaching, Marina Hardyman, and basically my story. Why am I coaching? I have had lots of questions in the last few weeks about this as my Instagram has grown quite a few followers recently, which is great, at Coach Marina Hardyman if you're interested in following over on Instagram. But yeah, I just wanted to take a minute, sit back and give people my story a little bit more. So basically, born in 1987 in the west of Ireland, in a very rural parish part of the country. I have two sisters and basically I've grown up around sport my whole life. I was involved in the GAA. I played football probably before I could start walking. So it has always played like a massive part of my life. And I played for County Roscommon for the ladies GAA. And to be honest, I have scoured the internet and friends' albums and my home albums for pictures of me playing sport when I was younger. Funnily enough, there are none. I do not know how, because I have literally spent my whole life playing sport. My mum, I think, just kind of said that I was that much at it that she didn't really come to all of the things. And when she did, it wasn't a thing to take pictures. You just kind of played the sport. So we obviously now live in 2025 where things are very different. So basically, when it came to me choosing a university degree or a college degree back in Ireland, it was very much so like, what are we going to get Marina to do that doesn't involve anything academically? Because academics were not my strong point. Sport was everywhere I went. Like, in the sense of secondary school, I helped with the coaching of the basketball teams. I coached underage basketball. I was involved in all the sport and outings. Anything that got me out of the classroom that involved sport, I was involved in. So shout out to Joe Henry for that one, because yeah, he saved me from not being in the classroom every single day. And then I suppose when it came to choosing a university degree, I sat down with my mum and we went through like every single course that had any mention of sport. And that's basically how I got into sports and recreation and leisure, with business in Sligo IT. So basically it was 3 years of a business degree with a double barrel of like a sports fitness instructing, management kind of style course. All the business kind of modules did kind of link with sports and management and fitness centres and basically running your own business, which funnily enough doesn't really come in handy nowadays in 2025, considering that was 2005, so 20 years ago. This kind of course then led me into working in a leisure centre for 2 years, of which I managed for the last, I want to say 6+ months that I was there. It involved like a swimming pool. We had a function room that we were able to do boot camp classes, but also some levels of PT in as well within the gym. It was part of our role. It wasn't extra. And I loved working with people. I loved working with people, helping them to get to their goals. But one of my main elements was swimming teaching. I was really strong at swimming teaching, and I was the one that was coordinating the whole kind of program over the lessons and things like that. Absolutely loved it. Not only did I work with people on their goals, but I worked alongside like incredible people and incredibly knowledgeable people. And that kind of showed me what was possible in the fitness world. But then before I left Ireland, I was offered an opportunity to work in Spain and teach English as a foreign language. And I jumped at the chance. Just with my circumstances and stuff in Ireland at the time, it meant that I was able to explore the world and do exactly what I wanted to do, not in the fitness industry, but in a different realm of teaching. I did that for 5 years, lived in Spain. Sport was part of my life. I used to go to the gym. I would swim a lot, hike a lot in the local mountains. And yeah, it did kind of take a backseat compared to especially 2010, before I left for Spain, because 2010 was a massive year. I organised a cycle from Mason to Malin in Ireland, and I took part in many half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, and was probably the fittest that I had been in a long time. And then to kind of move to Spain and completely let it take a back seat. But then it kind of came to a point in 2014 as to what am I doing with my life? Like, am I going to continue doing TEFL teaching? There wasn't great money in it. Yes, living in Spain was amazing. Living where I was living at that stage in Spain was much cheaper than where I'd lived previously. But the money just still wasn't there, and it wasn't sustainable for like the lifestyle that I knew I wanted to live long term. So I actually spoke with some of my friends about going back into the fitness industry at that stage, and they all recommended me that it wasn't the time to get back into it and to kind of keep going with what I was doing, because it was giving me more opportunities than what the fitness industry was in 2015. Ended up doing a postgraduate in primary school teaching here in Glasgow. Fulfilled my dream of going to the Middle East and working in the Middle East. I had Dubai and Abu Dhabi in my head, like every single other person in the world at the time. And ended up getting a job in Qatar and never heard of it, didn't know anything about it, and kind of thought, well, do you know what? This is the only opportunity I've got. Let's go for it. So ended up getting a job in a really average school, and it kind of got my foot in the door, which is exactly what I was looking for. Worked there for 2 years and then moved on to another school for 4 years later. In this time, I moved to that new school in the September of 2019. So coming out of 2019 into 2020, when the pandemic hit, it was a massive shift because April came in 2020. I had just come off steroids. I was the biggest I ever was weight-wise and basically just felt rubbish. My relationship with food was terrible. And my movement was at an all-time low. Like, I lived in the Middle East. Everyone drove everywhere. There was no walking. There was no movement. And I kind of thought when it came to April 2020 that now is my time to get my life in order and get kind of back into fitness. And 100% the pandemic is the reason that I have fallen back in love with fitness. And it was also in this time that I lost a lot of weight and understood food a lot better. Like, yes, my degree was in this, but the things that we were taught didn't really apply to me at that time. But obviously now, 10 years later, I'm sitting in Qatar with a whole wealth of life experience, along with that experience of really yo-yo dieting, and being able to kind of rectify that and repair my relationship with food, but also find my passion and my love for movement again, not just running, but walking and cycling and swimming and any kind of movement that we could do during the pandemic. I did it. So when it came to the choice of leaving or staying in Qatar, and my goal was always to wait until after the World Cup, which I experienced, and it was out of this world. I know there was a lot of hate for Qatar and the World Cup experience that people had. I know I could be biased because I lived there, but it was absolutely seamless. And to this day, it is a memory that I have now for life. But it definitely came to the time to hand in my notice and move on to the next stage. I'm very easy getting itchy feet, like next stage, like what's next, and that fight for more. So 2022, the end of 2022, I gave my notice to my school and knew that I would be leaving Qatar in June 2023, which was scary in itself, but I kind of thought, look, it's what I need to do. Started my registration for teaching in Scotland, but also didn't really find that I wanted to do that. I spoke with some friends about getting back into the fitness industry and going into online coaching, because that's obviously what the pandemic had kind of reignited and kind of opened up this whole new world and space for fitness instructors and online coaches. And I basically decided to, do you know what, I'm just going to lean into this area of my life and go back into my undergrad degree. And I suppose in that time frame of the 6 months, I was able to complete a lot of certified CPD courses in life coaching, strength and conditioning coaching, and kind of get back into where I kind of wanted to do, like with the psychology of nutrition course that I did. And I just wanted to kind of get courses and CPD courses that aligned with where I wanted to go with my coaching and not just have it as a fitness instructor. So yeah, basically when I was in the Middle East, I lived and traveled my best life. But it is absolutely something that I don't regret doing. And it has absolutely led to me being the coach that I am today and being able to kind of educate around your relationship with food and movement. But also I find that when women don't understand something, I'm able to attack it at lots of different angles, which obviously, in my opinion, has come from my teaching background as well. So yeah, choices around Scotland just kind of shifted. And here I am. I decided to start my business with 6 women who were my guinea pigs at the start. We opened up an app, got things moving, and basically coached them for free for 6 weeks. And it was kind of like that now or never mentality. And I mean, I had no idea. My business degree was not standing to me at this stage. And basically got a business coach, got things up and running, got things started myself. And finally, here I am, over 2 years in business, and I have helped hundreds of women get to their goals and their achievements that they have wanted to date. Again, losing body fat is probably one of the biggest things that I help women do, specifically teachers. and understanding how they can navigate their routine along with losing body fat, but also time management and getting life back in their lives, as opposed to being just another number on a pay slip and showing up to work every single week for the sake of the job. So yeah, just right now it is MWM Coaching. I help lots of teachers kind of hit their goals, and it is absolutely something that I know I can help lots of women in the future do. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Next week I will be doing a food Q&A. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I will add them to the list.